Hey Soup, welcome back. It's Claytano, and today I'm going to be teaching you guys how to rune Chiwu, the Fire Pioneer. And for those of you that are new to the channel, or this is the first video that you're watching of mine, this advice is coming from a G3 standpoint, so keep that in mind as I go over the runes. However, I am going to be giving kind of my opinion on how early game players should rune it compared to how end game or mid game type players should rune it as well. And in this series, I basically go over the monsters, just basic skills, things like that, what they're useful for, what they offer, their pros, their cons, like I said, early game runes, late game runes, team combinations, substat priorities, and then at the very end, I give you my final rating on what I think overall the monster is worth. So just to get right into it here, guys, what Chiwu is useful for is mainly arena offense and arena defense, more so than offense, I would say. Aside from that, though, there's not much else that he's useful for, unfortunately. So other than that, as far as what he offers, though, he offers a 24% speed leader skill, as you can see here. It's useful anywhere in the game. However, with Chiwu not really being useful other places aside from arena, this is mainly for arena, I would say. What else he offers? He offers a AoE buff remover, which is through this skill here, and then a single target buff removal, and blocks skills through his second skill as well. And then he has a little sleep on turn 1. Some pros for Chiwu, though: he awakens into accuracy, as you can see here, and that's something that'll help him with his third skill, his second skill, and even his first skill. So it's really, really nice, and I think it's a pro that he awakens into accuracy because he needs it. Second off, a pro for Chiwu would be his 24% speed leader skill, of course, because it's not very common that you have them, so it's really good to have on Chiwu. Third off, he is fire element, so having him as an arena defense monster, it does give you a little bit more resilience to Lucians. So it's nice that he's fire element. Some cons, though, just really one con that I was able to find on Chiwu is he's virtually has no use outside of arena, like I said earlier. So unfortunately, like, there's not much use in like dungeons, TOA, maybe TOA, but I wouldn't recommend it. There's other monsters out there that would be better than Chiwu in TOA. As far as runes, his early game runes would be, it's pretty more common to have a despair set on Chiwu, so if you can do that first, I would say get Chiwu on despair as soon as possible. You can also use him with a main stat or main set of Swift if you don't have despair runes right away. His offset, you can either do like endure, HP, focus, anything like that would work. It really doesn't matter for his offset too much. Even guard, I guess, would work fine. But for slot 2, it would be you want speed on slot 2, really nothing else, just have speed on slot 2. Have your 4 slot HP percent and your 6 slot HP percent as well, and that's pretty much the same basic idea for late game builds as well. It's pretty basic for Chiwu. Late game, you want him just to be on despair, and I would say he's most useful on will, but of course if you don't have will with the correct substats, you can always use a different offset rune instead. For substat priorities, though, I would say first off, prioritize speed. That's the main thing. Now, speed doesn't always mean have him be as fast as possible. Speed to me means speed tune him with the person or the unit that you're going to have going after Chiwu. So you want him to be just a little bit faster, but doesn't have to be so fast. It's not required for Chiwu to be 150 plus speed, okay? Or, like, you know what I mean, like plus 150 on top of the base 103 that he has. So just keep that in mind when running for speed. The next subset that you would want to focus on is getting accuracy, and then HP, a little bit resistance, a little bit defense, but mainly speed, accuracy, and HP are the main things that you're looking for. And accuracy is kind of like a toss-up too. Maybe have like 70 to 80% accuracy, and that's plenty enough. Aside from that, what are his team combinations? So he has a couple different options. For arena offense, he's useful for a buff stripper, so you can use him just primarily for a buff stripper. You could put him on a team with someone like Galleon and 2 other nukes as well, which will give you more of like a cleave type composition where you have your Chiwu go first, you have your Galleon go second, then you have your 2 nukes go right after that. And if you use him as a speed leader skill, then you have more of an opportunity to not get, outsped on turn 1. For a different style of team, for arena offense, you can switch out one of the nukers for an attack bar booster like Bernard or Megan even, and that would give you the same type of effect as well, but you'd be trying to go first rather than go second, and you'd only have 1 nuker rather than 2, so keep that in mind when you're looking at different elements to choose your specific nuker to go with Chiwu. Light Dark being the best because they don't have elemental disadvantage throughout anyone that you're going to be fighting. As far as arena defense, you can build him with an attack bar booster, Galleon, and a nuke. You could just use that same combination on arena defense. I've seen it happen so many times where people have Bernard, Galleon, and then Zeros with Chiwu, which is really scary to fight into. However, Chiwu does like to derp sometimes on his AI, so keep that in mind as well. But I would say a more scary way of pairing him up would be with like tanky bruisers, so Kumar, Ritesh, Purna, Praha, stuff like that. That's gonna give you a little bit more of sustain. So you could even do Chiwu, Orion, Theomars, and Chaesoon, which I've seen happen before. It's a little bit more free to play, so if you guys want some suggestions for that, I would say that would work fine as well. And then for alternatives for Chiwu, really his main skill is that he has that buff stripper, so any other buff stripper will be able to, kind of go into his place for the most part for arena offense. Arena defense is a little bit different where you could only have like maybe Praha, Juno, or Triton. That would be really viable for arena defense buff stripping, but for offense, you can do Aquila, you can do Soha, you can do the light Inferno. So there's many different options for buff stripping on your arena offense, but a little bit less on arena defense. For like the leader skill, you can of course use different monsters like, I would say, Shimate, the Wind Sylph. You can use Sierra if you're lucky enough to have one of those, and maybe possibly even the Light Lich as well if you're just needing the speed skill. So just some options there. But his overall rating, since he is so kind of, I would say, almost overpowered in arena, I would say something along the lines of 3.75 to 4 out of 5 as his final rating, because he is pretty dominant in arena. But unfortunately, I can't give him anywhere near a 5 just because he has such little use outside of arena. But other than that, guys, I appreciate you watching. If you do have some friends that are trying to kind of learn how to play with Chiwu, learn how to rune him, definitely share this video with him or them. If this video helped yourselves, then please, of course, leave a like as well as comment and subscribe. And for these videos, I do one monster every single day. So tomorrow I will be doing this on Brandia. So definitely stay tuned for that. But again, guys, stay soupy. As always, don't be potatoes. Peace later, and bye-bye.